evidence that Preddy was going to these protests and was agitating on purpose.
How many other protests did he?
That is in fact the case, right?
So other than this one protest before he was killed, where he kicked a vehicle and spit at an officer.
No. Hang on. He kicked out the taillight of the vehicle
while he was armed.
Hang on, while he was armed.
So, like I said, I'm thinking about cutting this into 3 parts because this is really like 3 different conversations that they have here. The first one, they talk about the whole, Alex Preddy and Renee Good shootings by ICE. And then they go into the whole Epstein file stuff and Trump Trump being in the Epstein files, all that stuff. And then Andrew tries to say, all right, well, I got to go, Brian, talk to you later. I got to end this. And Brian proceeds to prolong the conversation for another hour, and where they talk about some interesting stuff there. So this is probably going to be a 3-parter. So let's get right to it. So the first one that we're going to watch right now is going to be on the ICE shootings.
On the right.
Okay. Well, I don't care what you're.
Yeah, I might want to go back because that was pretty good. Yeah, so it's funny because Brian Shapiro is like, I've talked to people in law enforcement, and they all say that is not protocol for him to walk behind the car and in front of the car. And so Andrew was like, okay, like name me one. Brian names him someone, and he's like, okay, is he a right-leaning person or a left-leaning person? Brian is all like, well, why does that matter? And well, you see why it matters.
It's on Twitter. I didn't see a breakdown of a video.
Right. So you have no idea what he said.
If your hill that you're going to die on is a guy that basically is a Holocaust denier, then I think you're going to lose. Okay.
Oh,
so they're talking about Myron Gaines because Andrew brought up Myron because Myron used to be in law enforcement. So he brings up, well, Myron said that actually is fine that he walked behind it. There's nothing that says you can't do that in the protocol. So now Brian is still triggered by Myron's Holocaust denial shirt. And she's still seething about it right here.
You see how now? Oh, wait. Now it's about credibility. But when I was asking about credibility,
we're going to cite Myron Gaines.
When I was asking about credibility earlier, you said, I don't care if they're left or they're right or what their political persuasions are. No. But now suddenly the credibility is in question if you don't like them. Isn't that interesting, Brian?
There is a difference, Andrew, between someone that is on the left and the right and somebody that is credible. I think there are
Blue Ball Texan. No human can be illegal. Bye, losers. Is this you, Tegan, again? Are you back under one of your many, many alt accounts? The man of 1,000 alt accounts. No human can be illegal. Bye, losers. Yeah, such stupid mindset, though. This whole no human can be illegal. Yes, but a human can be somewhere where he doesn't belong. That's what that means. That's what it means when it says you're here illegally. That's what that means, is that you're somewhere where you're not illegally allowed to be.
Plenty of people on both sides of the aisle that have been in law enforcement for a long time that are very credible. That is what I mean when I say I don't care. Now I'm asking you because
Myron, the whole thing that you just said to reject his years of experience as a law enforcement officer is that he has a political position you disagree with.
No. It's not a political position when you say the Holocaust didn't happen.
That's why. Yes, it is. Yes, it is a political position.
No, it's not.
And it's a historic position. Yes.
All right,
it is.
If you want to, cite
and
Myron
you reject
Gaines,
it because he has that view.
Yep. Okay.
Yep, exactly. Good to see you, Premonition News. I had to watch this without the volume off. With the volume off, as I'm not capable of listening to the Shapiro guy at all. Yeah, I know. Brian Shapiro is he's a hard listen to, definitely.
Reject him and say he's not credible.
All right, so Andrew, let me ask you a question.
Too far on the right.
Okay. Well, I don't care what your political affiliation is.
You clearly care.
Let's go back to the actual. You can cite Myron Gaines if you'd like throughout this conversation, Andrew. I'm more than glad to let you do that. That's great. Let's get back to the actual shooting and the 2 eyes that we have. Andrew, do you believe that deadly use of force was sufficient?
Yeah.
And do you believe that Jonathan Ross,
in the Renee case?
Yes.
Yeah, of course. She hit him with a car, and he needed to stop it before it got to a highway. Yeah.
So, have you seen all the videos?
Yeah.
Have you seen all the breakdowns on all the videos?
Mm-hmm. You can literally see the guy's feet sliding. That's how you know he got hit by the car.
Did he fall down?
Doesn't need to fall down.
Did he drop his cell phone?
If you attack a person with a 5,000-pound deadly fucking vehicle, they're going Yeah, she did.
No, she didn't. Okay, so Andrew, here's why I say she doesn't. I have 2 eyes. I assume you do as well. As well, in this case, I'm not sure you do. You sound like Mr. Magoo, with all due respect.
Tell me how why are his feet sliding?
I'm about to explain it right now. First of all, as she's backing up her car, and the New York Times did a great job in breaking down frame by frame. As she's backing up her vehicle, before she even puts it forward, she's completely turning her vehicle to the right. Number two, shot number 2, shot number 3. We're also learning shot number 4 after the first shot was on the side of the vehicle after she was not a threat to him. And this is a very important point.
She was a
that
threat
I want
to
make
the entire public at that point.
Okay, well, that's insane. But let me go back to what I
Yeah, it's not insane.
No, you just that's an assertion. You haven't told me how it's insane.
Okay.
You just say it is
insane. When she's
insane.
on the side of the vehicle trying to leave, and you take your gun and you point it to her head and shoot her in the face, that is insane.
If you try to flee from police officers when you're being detained and you hit one of them with your car and you disobey their orders to stop, you're now a threat to the public. That's how that works.
Okay. Just because a police officer might feel like she's a threat to the public, I would go back and say, officers are supposed to use de-escalation techniques, and they're supposed to be professional. Do you think that they used de-escalation techniques properly?
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yes.
You do?
Yeah. When he shot her, that de-escalated the situation, didn't it?
I think that these people went out of their way to agitate. And by the way, let me ask you this. Why is ICE doing this at all? Why is it that you don't have local police officers there? Is it because these mayors are making them stand down, Brian?
One thing at a time. You just said that they did use de-escalation techniques. So when the first officer arrives, not Jonathan Ross, he doesn't say his name. He doesn't say, ma'am, here's what we're going to need you to get out of the car. My name is blah, 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 blah. He says, get the fuck out of the car. And he tries to pull on her door. Andrew Wilson says that's proper de-escalation.
Yeah, it's really funny. I hear this from libs all the time, and it's a stupid talking point.
Go ahead.
De-escalation is not just being nice. De-escalation is not just having it's not just having a sweetie pie voice.
I didn't say
hang on. De-escalation can also be an air of authority, right? And you being very commanding and you being even very demanding. That can de-escalate situations. Some people respond better to that, in fact, than they do with the sweetie pie voice.
Okay, so let's go with that theory for a moment. So when Jonathan Ross has his cell phone out.
Now, this is the same Jonathan Ross that you said looked like a nerd in high school and clearly got bullied and he just wanted to murder people. That same guy?
Yeah.
Do you have any? Did you?
Imagine freaking look at how Brian looks right here. Like, imagine this guy calling anybody else a nerdy looking guy. Like, look at him with his freaking pink shirt, the newsboy cap, and his stupid glasses. Like, imagine this guy calling anybody a nerd.
Can you substantiate that he just wanted to murder people?
Andrew?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, don't spurg out. Don't spurg out.
Nobody's spurging, Brian.
Okay.
And it looks like even his eyebrows right here, it looks like he's turning into Sarah right before our eyes. Look, the eyebrows are starting to go a little bit more vertical. Did you guys notice that? It's weird. He just got his eyebrows done.
That same guy?
Yeah.
Do you have any? Can you substantiate that he just wanted to murder people?
Andrew,
okay.
Don't spurg out. Don't spurg out.
Oh, yeah. So I was going to say the spurg out thing. Yeah, that's his thing, too. Like, he tells Andrew, like, multiple times, don't spurg out when Andrew's clearly not spurging out. It's like he just learned a new word, and so he's using it as much as he can, but he doesn't even know what it means. He just hears it, and he's like, oh, okay, and he just started saying it.
Nobody's spurging, Brian.
Okay,
saying that I'm spurging because I'm pointing out what you said is not spurging, Brian.
Andrew, you're going to a tweet, and I'll gladly talk about that. Let's get back to what we were just talking about.
Okay, let's get back to it.
Not a tweet that you don't like.
I just want to make sure that was the same Jonathan Ross.
Andrew, I'll respond to that in a moment. I have no problem defending any of my tweets, but let's remain on topic. So it is your position that when Jonathan Ross goes up to the side of the door and she says, I'm not mad at you, bro, he doesn't try to engage with her. He walks around her vehicle with a cell phone in his hand. The other officer says, get the fuck out, and tries to pull on the door.
So gave her a lawful command.
And Andrew Wilson says that's de-escalation.
Yeah, that's called a lawful command.
How could you think that's de-escalation?
Because when you give if I come into a room, Brian, and I want you to get on the ground, and I'm doing, something which is dynamic, and I kick in your door and I say, if I say, would you please get on the ground? Or I say, get the fuck on the ground. Which one's more effective?
So first of all,
hang on,
I never
stop, Brian.
Yeah, answer the
Brian,
question.
I want you to answer my question.
Depends on the circumstance.
Yeah, exactly. Depends on the circumstance. So what happens is that when you're talking about de-escalation, you guys do this all the time. You conflate what this word means. You libs. You conflate what these words mean.
I'm not a liberal. Why do you say things that are not
you
true?
can de-escalate. You are a lib. You can de-escalate.
No,
yeah, you can de-escalate through authority. You can de-escalate through the use of harsh language. These are techniques for de-escalation. You guys pretend, you especially pretend, that de-escalation can only be done one way. When you know it's not true. It's literally not true.
So let me just
Yeah, they act like the only way to de-escalate is just by using the sweetie pie voice. Okay, now let's all take a breather. Let's all just settle down, go grab some kombucha, and we could start a dialogue together and we could talk about this. Like, that's not de-escalation. But I also just love too how Brian keeps denying that he's a liberal, even though, again, he agrees with everything the liberals say. Every lefty narrative that comes up, Brian agrees with it. But he's an independent, guys. I don't know why you call him a liberal.
correct the record because I don't like it when people say things that are not factually accurate. And Andrew seems to do that a lot, particularly with me. By the way, there's nothing wrong with being a liberal. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. But just because somebody like Andrew disagrees with me on this topic or any other topic, he assumes that I'm a liberal.
I'll tell you. Okay. Give me your most right-wing position, Brian. I want to hear it, actually.
Sure. I'm for, and by the way, we talked about this yesterday.
Yeah, give me the best right. Give me your best right-wing position.
Andrew. Okay. So first of all, I will give you a few, but I don't need a right-wing position to tell you that I'm an independent who didn't vote for Barack Obama, who didn't vote for Hillary Clinton. I believe in capital punishment. I believe in execution. I've always believed in capital punishment, and I defended George W. Bush when it came to capital punishment. I believe if you rape somebody, your junk should be cut off.
Yeah, that's not a right or left wing position, right?
Well,
that's a
capital
moral
punishment
position.
is okay. Capital punishment is, and that's the point. I believe in border security. I believe that we should have secure borders. I believe people should be coming into this country legally.
Yeah, he says that, but then he's against ICE though.
You just can't remove them, right?
I just can't remove them.
You asked me for a right-wing position. I told you I am.
Left-wingers believe in border security. They just don't believe. They just don't actually do it, right? They claim they believe it, but they don't do it.
You asked me for a right-wing position.
Yeah,
I gave you one.
Give me one on.
Please stop.
Give me one on social issues. You have a single social issue that you have a.
So now you want to move the goalpost.
That's the easiest way to delineate. It's the easiest way to delineate right or left on social issues.
I'm going to help you out, Andrew. Okay.
Give me one right-wing social
issue. I've been a registered. Andrew, don't spurg out. I've been a registered independent my whole life. That's not relevant to this conversation. You are defending.
Well, you're the one who wanted to clarify it.
Okay, well, because you say things that are not factually accurate.
It is
I know you don't like it. You don't like. Oh, really?
Yeah,
it is.
Yeah. Name a single right-wing social issue that you have.
What am I registered as, Andrew?
Give me a single right-wing social issue.
Sure, absolutely. I'll even answer that one too.
What?
And then will you shut the fuck up and give
yes, what?
Thank you.
What is it?
I believe it is despicable, and I said this on Piers Morgan. You just don't do your research. That people that are born men transition to women. I think it's despicable that they are competing with women on the playing field. I have had that conversation over and over again with people on the far left. So now that I've answered,
but Brian, are they women? Are they women? But are they women?
Never have I said that.
They're not women?
Will you stop?
I just want to make sure they're not women.
What did I just say? I'm going to answer it again.
Okay.
I believe.
But are they women?
It's funny how I answer his questions and he looks like a moron.
And
I'll answer it again. If you're born a man, you're a man. If you're born a woman, you're a woman.
Okay.
I fucking answered that stupid question.
So men can't be women.
Ask what?
So men can't be women, right?
I don't believe so. No. Now can we fucking move on?
That is actually a right wing. That is actually a right wing social position.
Shut the fuck up and let's continue the real debate. Can we do that, Andrew?
Sure.
Can you be quiet now? Thank you.
I just wanted to make sure that you were. I just wanted to make sure you're on record saying that men can't be women. That's all.
Never have I ever said that.
So you don't use proper pronouns and shit, right?
Stupid fucking questions.
Yeah, I'm just making sure.
What's
like
a man?
If a trans,
right? We got.
Like if a trans person comes on, you're not like, ma'am. You're not like, you don't say she. You don't do any of that, right?
Can I continue the debate with
like
Riley
if Blair
Gaines
White came on, I'm not going to find clips of you with a trans person using their pronouns, right? Saying she and her and this and that for a man, right?
Now you're asking me about pronouns. Did I not just answer your question?
I just want to make sure.
Oh, you just want to make sure. Andrew, Did I not just? I'm going to try to calm down here. Did I not just answer both of your questions?
I just want to make sure that when I go later and I research you interviewing trans people, that you're not going to be like she and her and they and them and using all these proper pronouns because you believe that they can't be women and they can't be men.
I don't care about pronouns. I really don't care. It doesn't affect my life at all.
So in practice, it's different. Okay, got it. All right.
I answered your question about.
So Brian pretty much admitted right there, like, oh, okay, well, I don't care about pronouns. It doesn't affect my life at all. Meaning that, yes, if he came across a trans person, he would respect the pronouns. That's pretty much what he said right there. So, which is a lefty thing to do. That's a very lefty thing to say, like, well, it doesn't affect my life at all. If they want to be called a woman, I'll call them a woman and she, her, and blah, blah, blah. That's a very lefty thing to say, Brian.
Capital punishment. And then you asked me socially, and I talked about transgenders. Can we now get back to the actual topic, Andrew? Is that okay with you?
Yeah.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
After the shooting, we obviously disagree fundamentally on this first shooting, and we'll get to Alex Preddy. The only thing that I have asked for is an independent investigation. And they didn't investigate ballistics. They didn't perform an autopsy. I've spoken.
Wait, we're shifting to Preddy?
No, I'm talking about Renee Good.
Oh, okay. I thought you said Preddy.
No. We'll do that in a moment. That's what I said, Andrew.
All right.
I've spoken to a couple witnesses who were 30 feet away, including the guy who said he was a physician. They haven't been interviewed by anybody. There hasn't been an investigation, Andrew. So will you agree with me? Can we find some common ground?
It's still under investigation, Brian.
Okay. So Christy Noam, by who, by the way? By who?
By law enforcement officials. I can pull up the investigation right now. It's going to be under investigation for a while, especially by internal affairs. There's going to be an internal affairs investigation. There's been a massive outcry for investigation.
Are they allowing? Is there an independent investigation? Are they working with state officials?
You mean for the investigation on this? We're not sure yet. Yes. We're not sure because it's under investigation. We don't know that.
They have blocked, according to Tim Waltz and Frey. And local law enforcement, they have said on the record in almost every press conference that they are not allowed to be working with and cooperating with and investigating with. Chris.
Thank you very much, moderator, for $10. Hey, cool, it's me, Brian, again. Why can't y'all understand? I never change my position depending on who I'm talking with. Well, back snuggles with Don. Come here, honey. Well, thank you very much, moderator. Yes, or should I say Brian? And hope you have fun snuggling with Don Lemon. And also, too, I forgot to read this earlier. Thank you very much, Isaac, for the $2. Request poll, is Brian Shapiro a gay liberal? Yes, I actually, let me get that poll started, by the way. Let's see. Is Brian Shapiro a gay liberal? All right, there you go. Thank you very much, Isaac. The poll is live.
Noam called her a domestic terrorist an hour after the shooting. Do you support that language? An hour after the shooting?
I wouldn't say she was a domestic terrorist.
So
I would have said a suspected domestic terrorist. That's what I would have said.
Does she have any criminal record?
Well, no, that's not what I would suspect her. I would suspect her of being Antifa.
And what is your evidence to prove that she is a member of Antifa?
I would just suspect it.
And why do you suspect it? What is your evidence that would lead
because she was an agitator at one of these protests who was going out of her way to agitate ICE officials, which is very reminiscent of Antifa-like behavior.
So if I went to a protest and I said, "Hey, you're a piece of shit," you would suspect that I'm a member of Antifa? That is insane.
I suspect that most of these agitators at these protests are members of Antifa.
I see. So
the reason is because we have these signal chats, which were released by Cam Higbee and others, that show that these are massively organized events by people who want to keep their identities a secret, and they're members of
like
Antifa.
The ICE agents, yeah, like the ICE agents who cover their faces, yeah, like those.
Yeah, I would too if I was getting doxxed all the time by protesters.
Why don't police
local
officers,
law enforcement wouldn't help me? Yeah, I would do the same thing.
Why don't police officers wear scarves over their face?
Well, sometimes depending on what they're.
It does look like he's wearing lipstick. He reminds me of what's his name in Billy Madison? You know, after he Billy Madison calls them and he freaking takes Billy Madison off the list and then puts the lipstick on. That's what Brian Shapiro's reminding me of right now.
They do.
Oh, really? Where do police
I'm glad I
officers
called
Like, for
that
instance,
guy.
when you have cops who work undercover, why is it that they're concealing their identity?
These ICE officers are not working undercover, so
That's
that
not my
doesn't apply to this
question.
Yes,
I'm
conversation.
asking
Buscemi.
you, when officers are
Doesn't-
working
irrelevant.
undercover, why are they trying to conceal their identity?
It is not. You just used
Why
the term doxing.
are they trying to conceal their identity? Why?
Okay, if they're undercover,
Mhm.
these
Why?
ICE officers are not
I
undercover.
didn't say that they were.
It's
I'm
not
asking you a
doxing.
question. Can you
Okay,
answer
but
my
Andrew,
question?
You use the term. I will. You use the term doxing.
Mhm.
It is not doxing. We have the right to know the name of these individuals because they are not undercover agents. They're not working overseas. That is not doxing. Now, I don't support giving out their address. That is doxing. I don't support giving out their address or family
But
members.
that's what
different.
happens.
Yeah.
That's what's happening.
Yeah, but yeah, they get their faces and their names and then they find out the rest of it.
Well,
Then
here's
that
what
is a
here's what
crime.
actually happens in real. It's not a crime. And here's what actually happens in real time. What happens in real time is you can say we have a right to know their names and their faces, which you don't. There is no such right. But let's assume for a second that there was, even though there isn't. What's actually going on is that these Antifa lunatics do dox them on multitudes of websites, and they release their address, they release the address of their family members, and do everything they can to incite harassment campaigns against them at the individual level. And so, yeah, I think that that's par and partial for domestic terror group like Antifa.
Okay, but it's not considered doxing to release a name of an ICE agent because he's not working undercover.
Because if you
that very
release a
clear.
name and a face, how hard is it to then get their address? And yeah, exactly. Exactly.
we're not-
Do you
we're not
actually have a
living-
right? Brian, show me the right that you have to know their identity. Show it to me.
If you are not working undercover,
Mhm.
then we have the right to know.
Show me the
who they
right.
are.
Show me that right.
And when they
No, you don't.
wear
No, you don't.
scarves-
Show me the right.
Okay, I will.
Yeah, so then Andrew asked repeatedly, show me the right, show me where's that right at, and Brian can't do it, which is pretty funny. Like he asked him repeatedly, show me that right, and he can't do it because it doesn't exist. There's no right that says you have the right to know their name and address and all these things.
will gladly give you the right.
Do it
okay?
now.
But the point that I am trying to make to you is you use the
we're
term
going to stop
dox.
and say, give me the right. Show me why it is that you think you have a right to know who these people
They
are.
are public servants.
Doesn't
For
matter.
Example,
Doesn't matter.
For example, the same reason why when you go up to a police officer, you ask for their name and your badge number. And guess what? They have to give it to you. So if your argument was correct, your argument would be like, well, no, they don't have to give you their name. They don't have to give you their badge number. That is 100% false. So now going back to let's talk about Alex Preddy for a moment, because you mentioned that Alex Preddy, you believe, just like Renee Good, with no evidence to back it up, by the way.
Yeah, so now he's just moving on to Alex Preddy, which he does. Like he'll like if he sees he's like starting to lose an argument, he'll like pivot to something else. Like he does that a few times.
That somehow these are Antifa members when you can't name, number one, who's funding Antifa. You also can't name the founder, who's the leader of Antifa. You made the case that Alex Preddy, who I do believe was murdered.
See, again, independent Brian, though. He's independent, guys. Yet he goes with the lefty narrative of Antifa's just an idea. Who's the founder? Where is it organized at? Where's the headquarters and all this stuff? The same lefty narrative he agrees with. All the lefty narratives he agrees with and he pushes. He also says Destiny is a good guy, Charlie Kirk not a good guy. So yeah, but he's an independent, guys. Trust him. He says so. He didn't vote for Obama or Hillary, guys. Therefore, he's not a lefty.
You made the case that somehow he's a professional agitator, right, Andrew? Is that correct? I want to make sure I'm getting your statement correct. You believe that Alex Preddy?
Yeah, hang on. Before we get to
professional-
that, though, I just want to make sure if you have a right to know who these people are.
Law enforcement, name and badge number, please.
Mhm.
Is that
Yeah,
incorrect?
that's if they're stopping you and you've been detained, you have a right to know that they're a federal officer.
So wait, hold on a second. If
But
you're
they don't
not
have
being-
to face docs to you.
Hold
I
on,
can't
hold on.
find this
If you're
anywhere.
not, hold on, I want to get this right. So if a police officer is not detaining you,
Mhm.
you don't have a right to ask for their name and or badge number?
I don't think you do. No.
No, you're wrong. You're wrong.
Okay, show
Anybody
me.
could look that up.
Show me.
Anybody could look that up.
Show me.
Look it up. You don't know the law.
Bro, just show me the law. I'm willing to be corrected on this, but
what's funny is like he keeps saying like, "Well, it's so easy to Google it, Andrew. It's so easy. Why can't you just Google it?" Okay, if it's so easy, why can't you just Google it? He only leaves it up to Andrew to Google it. I honestly don't know if it's like him being stubborn, him knowing that he thinking he's like talking out of his ass, or the fact that he's like afraid to go off of his screen because he thinks he might log off because he's such a boomer. I honestly think that could be it too.
But I don't think
It's
that's
public.
the case.
I cannot believe you don't. It's public knowledge of federal and public employees. How the hell do you not know this? This
Show
is
it to me, bro.
Show it to you. Let's move on to Alex Preddy. You want me to Google it? I don't see during debates. I don't do what you do. Okay, I don't need to Google things when I know what I'm talking about. You could Google it. If you are a public servant working for the government, the public, unless you're undercover, which we've already established, you have the right to ask for, and they must provide you name and badge number. You keep digging yourself into a hole, Andrew. You don't know what you're talking about.
I can't actually listen. I'm trying, but I can't actually find where it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm sorry you don't know how to Google. Can we move on to Alex Preddy, please? Because you've already established.
If you ask a cop if they're a cop, do they have to answer? Answer no.
If you are I didn't ask you. Ask them.
The answer is no. They don't.
I never said that.
If you're a police officer, if you ask them if they're a police officer, they don't have to tell you.
If you are a public servant working for the government, a federal employee, in this case,
legal requirements for police identification vary widely across jurisdiction, shaped by state laws, department policies, constitutional principles. Uniformed officers are generally required to display badges and provide identification when asked when they're in the middle of a detainment.
Yeah, but it's funny though is that he's not even a fence sitter. He's clearly on the left. He's just claiming to be a fence sitter so he could appear more objective. Like again, these lefties, they know that if they admit that they're lefty, that they're going to get accused of having TDS and a bias and such. So to try to appear more objective, I think they try to be like, "Oh no, look, I'm center," or "I'm not a lib, I'm not a lefty," but they all are. He's not even a fence sitter.
You don't have to be.
Not when they're just walking down the street.
You do not have to be in a detainment. Okay. If somebody's questioning, and by the way, you can look this up if you don't believe me. There's videos everywhere that talk about this. So stop distracting and let's get back.
What do you mean distracting? We're clarifying.
Distracting.
This is the opposite of a distraction.
Right. So if you go up to a police officer, they're a public servant, just like if you go into a federal building and you're a public servant, you ask them for their name. And in this case, if you're an officer, the badge number. You don't have to be detained to get that information. Okay. That is 100%.
Well,
fact.
Wait. You may be able to get the information. They may give it to you depending on the policy. We're asking if there's a legal requirement. If you just walk over to a random cop and ask them for identity and to face docs if they have to.
They don't have to give you.
It does not appear that they do.
They don't have to give you their first name. They do have to give you their badge number where you will find out their name. That is
they don't always have to give you their badge number either. Depends on the circumstance.
Okay. Well, if you could find a jurisdiction where police officers don't have to give you their badge number if they're questioning you or there's some sort of interaction, then please let me know where that is, Andrew. Okay. Please let me know.
In general, no. A police officer does not have to identify themselves even if you ask them. Even if you ask them. That's what the law says. So here's the myth, right? Okay. So the question is, do police officers have to identify themselves when you ask them for identification? In general, no. Police officer does not have to identify themselves, even if you ask them.
I didn't say.
So Brian, I think you're just wrong on this point.
What's your? First of all, I didn't say identification. I said they don't have to show you their ID. That's not what I said. Identification can mean.
No, I'm talking about identifying themselves as a cop at all.
Yeah, if you ask somebody for their badge number, they are entitled.
That seems to be giving you their badge number. That seems to be jurisdiction.
Okay, well, find me the jurisdiction where that's not the law, and I'll gladly have that conversation with you, and we can debate that another time. Let's move on to Alex Preddy.
Well, I'm just trying to get look. I'm just trying to make sure that we have clarity in what we're talking about.
Okay, and again, it's not doxing when we're talking about the name of someone who is not undercover. Now, Alex Preddy, you had said that Alex Preddy is a professional agitator. Now, when I hear the term professional, that usually means they're getting paid. So my question to you is, where's your evidence that Alex Preddy was getting paid to show up at these protests? Can you please?
You see how you smuggled in? Did anybody say he was getting paid?
What's professional mean then? Give me the definition.
Well, for instance, I'm a professional gunsmith, but I don't do gunsmithing for the public anymore.
So a professional agitator doesn't get paid, but you label them professional because
some of them may get paid,
Gotcha.
but when I'm saying
is there any evidence that Alex Preddy
when I say
paid?
professional in this context, I just mean good at what they do, or some skill at what they do.
Okay, so other than him kicking a vehicle, Andrew, and by the way, I don't condone that behavior. Certainly, it's wrong. I certainly wouldn't do that.
But he did do that, right?
I believe he. What did I just say? Why do I have to repeat it again? Just listen, Andrew.
And he looked like an irate lunatic when he was out there doing that too, didn't he?
You know who I think looks like irate lunatics, Andrew?
Trump.
When a man is on the
kicking out the back of a fucking van.
Brian Shapiro does that too. Yeah, he'll do that too. Like, you'll be like, "Oh, that's insane," and then Brian Shapiro will be like, "You know what I think's insane? This Trump administration for what they're doing to America," or some kind of bullshit like that. He does that a lot. He must have practiced that quite a bit because he has this talent for doing that. Like, he could come up with that pretty fast. You know, like, "You're stupid." Well, you know what I think is stupid? That ICE. You know, like, he does that quite often. So this is him doing that. You know, and I think his lunatic behavior, and then it's pretty much ICE's lunatic behavior, what they did to Alex Preddy.
Just let me finish my sentence, if that's okay. I think a deranged lunatic is somebody that hides behind their scarf while a man is on the ground and unarmed and shoots him in the back. I think that's far worse than somebody who kicks a vehicle. But let's go back, as before I was interrupted, to 11 days before I believe he was murdered. He kicks a vehicle, spits at an officer.
Yeah.
And everybody on the right, I shouldn't say everybody, a lot of people on the right are using that as a defense to what took place 11 days later. Why is that relevant, Andrew?
Well, as far as the case of the thing itself, it's not relevant specifically to that case.
Thank you. Okay, so let's not talk about that then. Thank you for admitting that. Now let's move on, because it seems like 90% of MAGA Republicans.
Hang on.
I'm glad that Andrew caught that, because I was like, well, no, yeah, it's not relevant to the shooting. Like, it's not relevant as like, oh, the officers knew that and they shot him. However, it does show a pattern of behavior that this guy wasn't this. The lefty narrative was that this is a peaceful nurse who was just there peacefully protesting, making his voice heard. He was a nurse. He helped people. That's the narrative that was pushed. So then you see this footage from the week before where he's kicking a taillight from the ICE vehicle and agitating them. You clearly see that this was not a peaceful guy who was just there to help and blah, 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 or just making his voice peacefully heard. It shows a pattern of behavior that this was a deranged, violent guy.
Hang on, Brian. It can be relevant to his motivation and mindset. And I do think that can have relevancy, but not relevant specifically to what happened with his shooting.
Okay, so 11 days later.
I'm willing to separate these two.
Okay, let's separate. Let's move on. And by the way, just for the record, there's no evidence that Alex Preddy was a professional agitator. There's also no evidence that he was getting paid to be there, like so many on the right have claimed.
Hang on. There is evidence that Preddy was going to these protests and was agitating on purpose. That is in fact the case, right?
So other than this one protest before he was killed, where he kicked a vehicle and spit at an officer.
No. Hang on. He kicked out the taillight of the vehicle while he was armed. While he was armed.
Yes, which is legal.
Spit at an officer. No, it's not legal to kick out a taillight while you're armed.
No, but it is legal to be carrying, and he was legally carrying a firearm, so that's irrelevant.
Here's the thing that's interesting. Is like, when you're talking about training and protocols, was Preddy following the protocol that a CPL carrier is supposed to follow?
Yeah, I'll gladly answer that. But I'll start with a preface by saying he didn't take an oath to the Constitution like the goons and the scarves who were defending ad nauseum did. So now moving back to
so that makes it okay.
Never. The first thing I said was that I don't condone his behavior.
Yeah, see what I mean? Like, well, then why are you making justifications for it ad hoc?
Yeah.
No.
No, it's like, I don't condone the behavior, but ICE bad. But it's like, no, it's clearly showing a behavior. Like, all this proves is that he was an agitator. You know, we don't even know if those are the only ICE protests he's been to. There might be other times where he's went there and agitated ICE like that. Like, just because there's only 2 incidences on camera that we've seen doesn't mean that he hasn't done it more. And so this wasn't like this peaceful guy. Like, he's one of these deranged lunatics. Like, all the left is becoming these deranged psychopaths that are now involving children into their deranged psychopathy. And Brian here, he justifies it, even though he says he doesn't condone it. He's the fact that he's coming down harder on ICE than these deranged lunatics out there. That says a lot.
Up his firearm, which he was legally carrying. I am making the case, very simply put, that while I don't condone kicking a vehicle, and you even admitted this, it is irrelevant to what took place 11 days later.
But can we point something out here? That it does seem like it would be relevant to the mindset when you make the claims, no, he wasn't some kind of like professional agitator, wasn't somebody who's agitating on purpose. That this guy was.
Yeah, so Dusty. Yeah, the cop didn't check his background for. Yeah, no, I know that. I acknowledge that. But still, the left is trying to paint this as he was this peaceful guy. He's this nurse. He helps people. He's this peaceful guy. However, we've shown that he's an agitator and he's confrontational. That even if he wasn't shot that day, he would have eventually got shot. You can't just keep going around kicking hornets' nests and don't expect to eventually get stung.
Yeah, and you're okay, whatever. But anyway, this guy himself was a CPL holder, so he was trained that he was not supposed to do that, that you're not supposed to carry your firearm and get into engagements like this, especially with law enforcement. So the thing is like, it seems to me that he was ignoring that aspect of his training. So it seems like, why was he ignoring that aspect of his training? Because he wanted to agitate, right? He was trying to cause problems, right?
All right. So if you want to talk.
So wait, is there breaking news that Epstein's still alive? I heard that theory going around. So is that breaking right now? Like, is it confirmed he's still alive, or is some piece of evidence come out that he's still alive? Is there breaking news that I should be looking up right now? You're hearing now?
About ignoring training. Let's talk about that and what took place 11 days later.
Okay.
So 11 days later, Alex Preddy is in the street for about 5 to 10 seconds in this video that we saw. You see 2 women on the side of the road, both being pushed. One was pushed to the ground. Alex Preddy, the entire time, never reaches for his weapon. He never brandishes his weapon. Did Kristi Noem lie when she said immediately after the shooting that he brandished a weapon, Andrew? Was that a lie?
I'm not familiar with what
you're not
she
familiar.
said
Okay, well,
specifically.
let me keep you up to date. Let me just get you up to date, Andrew. So Kristi Noem, hours after the shooting, said, quote, he was brandishing a weapon.
Let me see if that's actually the case.
Okay, so you're not aware of this?
Yeah, I just want to make sure it's actually the case, Brian, because anytime you tell me something's the case and I look it up, it's not actually the case in context. So.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Andrew, to be fair, go ahead and look it up. That's totally cool. But if it's okay, I'm just going to continue to make the case of why I think it was murder. Is that okay with you?
Hang on. Real quick. Let's just clarify. Why do you not want things clarified?
Okay, well, just to move the conversation along so people don't see you typing.
Yeah, but the conversation, it's necessary in the conversation that we're not talking past ourselves.
It's not my fault that you don't know. Why is it my fault? Andrew, okay. I'll try to be respectful here because I appreciate you doing this, Andrew. I just find it shocking that you don't even know that Kristi Noem said that he brandished a weapon. I'm shocked, but go ahead and look it up.
He brings up like a source in a little bit. He brings up a source in a little bit that is from factcheck. There's one source he brings up later that I'm surprised Andrew didn't ask where he got the source from. He kind of just took it.
It's a quick, easy Google search.
All right. I'm just making sure.
Yeah, okay. Please do.
There's a reason that I do that, right? For the purpose of a debate. So calm down.
Please.
I can't actually find this quote. Where would I find the quote?
Why don't you just Google, did Kristi Noem say that Alex Preddy brandished a weapon?
I did.
And nothing came up, so now you're going to make me do it.
I can't find a specific quote. Yeah, I just want to make sure I got the specific quote. That's all.
Interesting. Now we're wasting time, but that's okay.
No,
I'll look it up for you because
it's not a waste of time to make sure that we're clarifying that what you're saying is accurate as we're debating what it is that you're saying, right?
Okay. We will. I think it's a waste of time because I'm 100%.
I understand. But you
but-
also have like 12,000 fucking people watching you right now. And I think that we want to make sure that we're clear on what it is that your case is.
I know.
Well, while he's looking that up, thank you very much, William Wilson, for the $5. Hey, Dusty, did you get upset when BLM protesters beat people half to death for bumping in with cars, or was it lethal force with a deadly weapon? I saw Dusty's answer was
I'm
like,
on
yes,
Reddit. You probably won't like that factcheck.org.
No, I needed an actual quote.
Factcheck.org. Here it is right here. He approached officers with a handgun, violently resisted, and brandished a weapon.
Okay, that's what she said.
Yes.
According to fact check. Okay.
Now, I will clarify by saying this. She's been asked about that again, and she's been challenged on it, and she refuses to say it again because she knows she's wrong, right? And people in the White House, like Stephen Miller, who, by the way, called Alex Preddy an assassin.
Okay.
I would
now
assume
hang on. Now we've clarified she said it, but we haven't clarified she was lying.
Okay, so she was wrong. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, we can agree she's wrong.
Good. Okay.
So hang on.
So hang on. Information from.
So hang on. I just want to make sure that your claim is that she was factually wrong about this, not that she was lying about it, right?
There's no evidence to prove that he brandished a weapon. As you know, we both have eyes. We both saw the video. If there was, they would have released that evidence immediately, just like Stephen Miller when he called him an assassin. They were wrong. Now, do I know for sure that she was lying? Andrew, it's impossible for me to know that for sure, but here's what I do know.
So did you tweet that she was lying, Brian?
I believe she was lying, and here's why.
But hang on, did you tweet she was, though?
Yeah, I believe she was lying. You're asking me.
So you tweeted out that she was lying, even though now,
here's why.
When you're asked about it, you're not so sure, right?
No. I don't know for sure is different than I don't believe. I believe she was lying. Do I know that 100%? No. It's called an opinion, Andrew. Here's why I say that. Andrew, here's why I say that.
Okay.
An hour after the shooting, she calls Renee Good a domestic terrorist without having any of the facts. Hours after the Alex Preddy shooting, she says that he brandished a weapon. Now, they try to character assassinate these people without knowing all the facts. So it's either one of two things. Either she's completely fucking incompetent or she's lying. Now, she
could have just been wrong on some facts, right?
She said she got the information. She's doing what she.
And then Brian does this a lot. He asserts, like all these lefties do. They always like assert that they know the intentions of everybody, like at least the people that they dislike. And so it's like, oh yeah, she knowingly lied. But Andrew's bringing up a valid point. Or it could just be that she got some facts wrong. That's entirely a possibility.
She's told from Stephen Miller and Donald Trump. She did an interview with Axios, and now she's putting the blame on Trump and Miller. Instead of saying, Andrew, this I would have accepted. I got it wrong. I got some bad information. He did not brandish a weapon, but instead,
but so what? What does this have to do with anything? Yeah,
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why this is important, because you have a man who I believe was murdered, and you are attacking his character.
No, you didn't say he was murdered. You said he was executed.
Yeah, I think you could make the case for that, and I will gladly do that with you.
You can't make the case.
Do you think he's an assassin? Is he an assassin? Stephen Miller called him an assassin. Is he an assassin?
I don't think he was an assassin, no.
Why do you think Stephen Miller said that? Don't you think it's irresponsible for members of the Trump administration to make statements like that?
Yeah, and here's what's annoying too. Even if we can see, this is why I hate like dealing with these people, like, because they hold us up to like all these standards, right? And so then they lecture us like, well, do you think that he should be saying this rhetoric and calling him an assassin? Which, even if we concede that no, he shouldn't have called him an assassin, that's wrong, that's inaccurate. Do you think they're going to hold their side accountable for anything, for all the shit that they say all the time, for calling us Nazis, fascists, or saying inaccurate things? Or what about like when the remember that one kid who was smiling in the face of the freaking Native American guy, and they called him a racist? Or that kid who was wearing the half blackface to support the what was it, the baseball or the football team? Remember, like they were saying, "Oh, look, it's blackface," blah blah blah. like there's all this information that goes on from the left, from the people like in charge all the time, but they always want to lecture us on this shit. It's like, why can't we just call it a wash on some things? Like, it's like, okay, if you're going to call out the people on the right that say these inaccurate things or whatever, well, then why can't you also like hold your same team accountable? If you're not going to, fine, but don't just sit here and lecture us and yell at us and go, would you agree? Do you think you should have done that? You because it makes us not want to, like, I don't want to concede anything. I don't want to talk to this guy. I don't want to be like if I were talking to him, I'd be like, you know what? Yep, it was good that he called him assassin. You know what? Fuck Alex Preddy. That's what I would say. You know what? Because fuck these people. Like, it just pisses me off. Like, we live in this world, like, you would think that some things are just obvious, right? And you think with all these fucking stupid ass, like, deranged lunatics going out there agitating ICE, they don't even know what the fuck they're fighting for. Like, they really honestly fucking don't. They're fighting in against their own country's best interest by fighting against the people trying to enforce the law, which I don't give a shit if you agree or disagree with the immigration laws. When you're going out there and you're constantly getting the faces with these ICE agents, like these ICE agents, they have to put up with this shit all the time, which people don't even fucking give a shit about. No one cares about that, you know? And so when something like this happens, where the guy gets fucking shot or something like that, we're all supposed to be like, oh my God, ICE is so terrible. Motherfuckers, what about these deranged fucking lunatics causing havoc, protesting all the cities, getting in the streets, attacking people? I didn't share this earlier on X, but there's literally, like, I saw a block where it was a row of cars. All of their windows were broken because the people thought, oh, these are ICE trucks. And so they broke all the fucking windows. Like, well, what the fuck's up with that? And they're getting kids involved. We're dealing with a bunch of deranged fucking lunatics, and we have retards out here going, yeah, but I shouldn't did it. You know, motherfucker. Yeah, you know what? A year ago, I might be sitting here going, yeah, you know what? You're right. But you know what? Fuck these fucking people. I don't give a shit. Why aren't we coming down harder on these people protesting? These people, it's not our fault that these people are fucking retards. It's just not. It's not my fault. Alex Preddy's a fucking deranged retard. Same with Renee Good. It's not my fault that they were brainwashed and they think that they're fighting some fucking fight, this heroic fight, and they're LARPing as some kind of revolutionaries or fucking war heroes or some shit. It's not my fault they're fucking retarded. Like I say, if you go around picking a bunch of fucking hornet's nests and then you get stung, am I supposed to sit there and be like, oh my God, poor guy, he got stung, when there's evidence that he goes around kicking hornet's nest all the time? Are you really supposed to, like, I'm supposed to be like, oh my God, how can he get stung? No, my reaction's like, yeah, no shit, you got fucking stung. What else do you fucking expect, you fucking retard? What else do you fucking expect? You don't have the right to obstruct the law like that. You just don't. I'm tired of fucking defending these people. I'm tired of living in this bizarro world where these people are seen as victims and then they're on the rights when they're fucking not. We've had illegal immigration laws for a long time, for like ever. This isn't a Trump thing. He didn't create these laws. They've been here for like fucking ever. So now he's trying to enforce the laws and you have a bunch of retards being fucking retarded about it. It's not my fucking fault. I'm not out doing that shit because I'm not a fucking retard. And the people that come on here defending the retards, the reason why they're still around is because they're not retarded either, but they're defending the retards. It's like fucking Wick. Like Wick telling, well, you go risk your life. But, oh, he's not going out there risking his life fighting ICE, but he's going to tell other people to risk their lives doing it. Wick's like, well, I'm not going to do it because I'm not a fucking retard. I'm going to stay in my house where it's fucking safe. Yeah, maybe if you told other people to do the same thing and stop helping people breaking the law, yeah, maybe less people would be shot in these instances. And by the way, it's even in the Renee Good and Alex Preddy, in both those situations, it wasn't like they just took a person and just shot him, killed him for no fucking reason. Both those incidences, it happened so fucking fast. Like that one guy that came on my stream, he was like, you know, defending Renee Good. And I was like, dude, you watch the videos and it happened so fucking fast. It was so fast. All of us have the luxury of sitting here and slowing down and analyzing the vehicle, the incident. We have the luxury of going back and pretty much Monday quarterbacking and doing breakdowns of the video frame by frame. But when you're in that moment, you don't have that fucking luxury. It just happens fast. And when Renee Good stepped on it after hearing her partner going, drive, baby, drive, that officer was still in the way. And he almost got fully fucking hit. Like he did get hit, but it wasn't as bad as it could have been because she was fucking reckless. And what else is he supposed to do? Again, it just happened so fast. Before, we used to be able to understand this, but now we have a bunch of people that pretend like they don't understand shit. Same thing with the Alex Preddy thing. I can agree that it was a big mistake because they thought that he was brandishing a gun. That's what they thought. They heard gun. And even when I watched it slowly, the person who shot him, you could see he was reacting to something. He heard gun and he went, oh shit, took out his gun. And again, there's so much happening. There's so much fucking happening at once that, yes, I could concede that like a mistake happened and he got shot. I could concede that. But the thing is, it's like we all have the luxury of sitting here and watching it frame by frame and analyzing every fucking thing to death. But when you're in that moment, you don't have that luxury and shit happens. But you know how shit won't fucking happen? If we stop encouraging these fucking retards.
I don't know. It could have been hyperbole.
You don't know.
Could have been hyperbole.
You don't know. So you're okay with Stephen Miller calling somebody an assassin with no evidence, and you're.
Totally I want to make sure. I want to make sure again.
You want to Google that as well?
Said
you're
that,
0 for 1.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, go ahead. And Google
wait. I'm not 0 for 1. Making sure that I'm clear on what you're saying in the middle of a debate.
Go ahead and make sure.
It's not me 0 for 1.
Go ahead, Andrew. We'll wait. Go ahead. Make sure that Stephen Miller called him an assassin. Go ahead.
Okay.
Anyway. Yeah, so Brian Shapiro gets fucking wrecked. Big fucking surprise. He's a liberal retard like the rest of them, no matter what he fucking says. No matter what he fucking says. We all know he's a fucking liberal retard. In fact, this scientific poll that I just took, 98% voted yes, 2% voted no. So by the scientific data that I just took, Brian Shapiro is a gay fucking liberal. There you go. So listen, I'm going to keep covering this debate because, like I said, it's a 3-parter. So watch part 2 and 3 coming this week. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, did you enjoy that video? I hope you did. If you did, make sure you like and subscribe, or else you're gay. I'm sorry, I don't make the rules. I'm just trying to save you from sin. Also, make sure you catch the Cool Stream live Mondays through Fridays right here on my YouTube channel. And make sure you follow me at any of these links down below for everything Cool Vic.